Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, out on another walk. And this time on a beautiful sunny day here in West Sussex, down on the south coast and on the South Downs, I'm with Julia. Hello, Julia.
Hiya.
You're one of my viewers, aren't you?
I am indeed.
And you said to me, come with me, I want to show you the fairy tree.
I did indeed.
And I was very intrigued. Fairy tree, I've not heard of a fairy tree. So tell me, Julia, what is a fairy tree?
Fairy tree. Well, it's where parents at the moment take their young ones to go and give things up like their dummies or, I don't know, baby wipes or... and it's...
And what do they do with them? They give them up?
Well, they'll decorate the tree with them.
Right.
They, make things out of them and decorate the tree and.
And what would you say the purpose is for children to give up certain things to decorate a tree?
Well, for the tree itself, it's a form of worship, isn't it? So they're sacrificing something for the tree. So that's what the kids are. That's what the kids are doing in their minds. Right,
so that's the philosophy behind it, is it? It's to do with worshipping trees, which I'm assuming is an old pagan ritual.
Yeah, it just happens to conveniently fit into a nice niche that modern mums and dads need to fill.
Fantastic.
Getting kids out of dummies.
And if it gets them out of the house and into the countryside, then...
all the better.
Absolutely. So here we are, up on the South Downs, heading actually down towards a small tract of woodland, which is, I suppose, the main path going up from the leisure centre area of North Lancing.
North Lancing.
Are you from Lancing?
Yeah, I live down in South Lancing, with the...
Close to the sea?
Closer to the sea.
Lovely.
About 5 years now.
And are you a bit of a walker yourself?
I do like to get out and about, but I don't get out as much as I'd like to.
Right. Well, I think that's true with all of us. Modern life does seem to keep us busy on other pursuits, mainly trying to pay our way in life. Now, we've just come to a very slippery and muddy bit. Hold on if you need to. So, now, I'm looking around because I know that the fairy tree is supposedly...
It's just down this
close.
path here. You can't really miss her.
You can't miss it. There it is. Now, what kind of tree is it?
I believe she's a horse chestnut. I call her a she because I don't know. That's the sort of energy I feel from her. But she's just a tree, really.
So here we are. We've got a tree. Let's just have a quick walk around the tree and just have a look and observe what we can see. We have a tree that is decorated by a whole manner of stuff. Now, some people, I'm playing devil's advocate here, some people may say that it's been decorated with what looks like, dare I say, sort of rubbish strewn around it. But I know you're going to take issue with that, and we're going to look at the things in a bit more detail in a second so that we can perhaps argue against that. So first of all, what is going on with the tree?
Well, on the one hand, I do agree with you about the tat because, it is basically tat and rubbish on there, essentially, but it's more about the feeling and the emotion and the
Right.
the impetus behind it.
So are you somebody who feels the energy from trees then?
Yeah.
Because, you hear of stories of people saying, offensively possibly, they're just tree huggers. Now, trees are living things, they're living species, they've been on the planet longer than humans.
A heck of a lot longer than us. We wouldn't be here without them.
We wouldn't, exactly. And I'm beginning, I've made it my policy this year to try and learn and identify more trees. So I'm very interested in them. I've read about people who have felt energy that need to touch trees and all the rest of it. And that to me sounds like a primeval urge, something like that, which I'm not going to dismiss.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't dismiss the church, I wouldn't dismiss this. Everyone has to follow their own kind of need for
belief
system, yeah.
So let's have a look at some of the items on the tree and perhaps just describe them and what they mean to you. Mm-hmm. So if we start up the top, which I'll take on a separate picture actually.
This one, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's very decorative. Although it's very symbolic of spring, isn't it? With the flowers, and the leaves.
And some sort of
this fairy door.
Yeah, it's a
An
fairy
entry
door with
into
a
a fairy
curious
dwelling.
design. So is it the idea that people, or that certainly children, are believing, because a lot of these are doorways into the tree, that fairies live in the tree?
Yeah,
Is that the principle behind
Yeah,
it?
I mean, when you put the door on the tree, you're giving them an access into this realm as such, you know.
I mean, to me, it reminds me of a television series when I was very young. I used to watch called Pogle's Wood. Have you ever heard of Pogle's Wood? You're too young to know that.
It vaguely rings bells.
Oh, okay. And it was about characters who lived in a tree.
Oh.
And it was, I think it was an Oliver Postgate series, who did the clangers and that sort of thing. And it was magical for me as a child, because we had a tree that had its own little doorway down, in the thing. And I was convinced that they lived in my tree. And that was magical.
That's the magic of childhood, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's the
So let's have a look at some of the other stuff. I mean, the things, I suppose, for me is it's twofold. On the one hand, you've got the children pinning pictures and cards and messages to the fairies, which is rather nice.
Look at this one. This one looks like it's a little memorial to a pet. So it's helping a child with grief there, you know. The memory of Princess Sparkle. I can't quite tell what it is. I think it's a dog.
Oh yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's right.
And another one to the same. Yes, it's a dog. Look, to a very special, funny bunny. Maybe it's a bunny.
Maybe.
It's a bit
Yeah,
weathered,
it
isn't
could be a bunny. It's got a big black
I think
eye
it
like
is,
a bunny.
actually.
There
Yes,
you go.
It is. It's a lot. Yeah, that is a bunny.
As the offerings age, that's another thing that is natural in its own ways. Decay is a natural process.
It is, you know. It's all part of the cycle.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got things up there like a miniature table
Do you
tennis
suppose
bat.
that's for...
Yes, I think that's brilliant. You can imagine them coming out at night and playing with fairies. Now, I haven't done a lot of research into fairies. Oh, here's a little fairy. Look at that little one. But fairies have been around, again, for a long, long time. And even Arthur Conan Doyle believed in fairies, the inventor of Sherlock Holmes. So that says something, doesn't it? Do you believe in fairies?
Well, in as much as I believe in spirits, you know, and souls.
So what would you say a fairy is then?
Well, it's part of the human imagination, and it's an explanation of something we don't understand or we cannot measure. So it's just another mechanism by which we explain the world around us.
Can we just stroll a little bit further up, just away from this particular one, and see if we can find... Are you good on tree identification?
I wish I was, you know. I mean, call myself a tree worshipper, huh? But no,
Right.
I mean...
See,
Yeah, I think I could recognise another horse chestnut.
Oh, good, because that's what I wanted to find, just to see if we could find another one. Because horse chestnut trees, from the readings that I've done, they're not natural in woodlands, they're planted trees. They were first introduced, I think, into England in 1550. They came from, where was it? Tibet, is what I was reading this morning. Oh, look at this old pollarded tree, this one.
Speaking of decay.
Absolutely. So we may not... Well, I'm just looking, because it is unusual to find them in any woodland. But they've got big sticky buds, haven't they? And, of course, horse chestnut tree, famous for one particular thing that everybody knows.
Conkers.
Conkers. Are you a great conker player?
I'm pretty sure I was when I was a child, yeah.
Are you bonkers on conkers?
Bonkers on conkers, now they're just particularly good for putting in corners of your house or your caravan to keep the spiders down.
Oh, is that what they do?
Well, yeah, there's something about the way they smell. There's some chemical within them that the spiders avoid.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. In the olden days, they think they were fed to horses. But there's also another theory that one of the reasons they got the name is as the leaves fell off, they left a horseshoe-shaped scar. And as a result of that, they became horse chestnut trees. And they shouldn't be confused with chestnut or sweet chestnut trees, because they're the completely different species. People
I'll
may
have to
not...
take your word on that.
So anyway, I'm going to do more on tree identification, but we seem to have come out into the open, away from the fairy tree.
I'm sure we walked past a few more horse chestnuts.
But anyway, thank you so much, Julia, for taking me on my little stroll and to introduce me to the fairy tree. Never seen such a thing close up.
Thank you very much for obliging.
It's my pleasure. So, join me again, and if you have a suggestion that you want to take the Bald Explorer to, then get in touch in the usual way, or whatever way you find possible, and do so. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.